everyone, I'm G-Man. That there is T-Money from LA. And welcome to the July 27th Father, Son, and Holy Sport weekly podcast. Hey, man, it's August next week. Veterans reporting to camp this Tuesday, kicking off the last phase of all these practices before we get to the big game. T-Money, Buffalo Bills taking on the Super Bowl champion Rams on September 8th, man. All leading up to that.
Oh, I can't wait, man. LA's already alive and electric after that Super Bowl, and they can't wait to get back in season here.
Yeah, T-Money's feeling good out there in LA.
Oh, yeah.
I know that. Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, I hope you guys love what you're seeing here from our shows. Do a favor, press the like and subscribe, man. We appreciate your support. And I'm G-Man. Hey, I got T-Money here with me, bringing you football energy with the July 27th edition of the NFL Rundown. It's a special segment of the Father, Son, and Holy Sport Network, and brought to you by our friends at Woodwise IQ. Hey, let's move into the questions here. I got one for you, T-Money, kicking off the show here, man. Talking about the Cardinals. Kyler Murray signed a long-term deal. Was it the right move by the Cardinals?
Can I say yes and no?
Absolutely not. You would never let me do that.
I know I can't. Yes, they made the right move signing him because they need to lock in a good quarterback. That's what you have to do to win in this league, and they win a lot of games with Kyler.
It's kind of like locking up G-Man for this podcast. You lock G-Man up.
Exactly.
You get your views.
But unfortunately, G-Man, it's a bad move. Okay. Unlike signing you, this is a bad move. Okay. And they told you, they put in a clause in his contract requiring him to study on his iPad without other electronic devices in the room for 4 hours a week. If you're asking your franchise quarterback to study, I don't know if you trust him. And that means that this was a bad move. He is extremely talented. One of the most gifted kids to ever come through the NFL. I mean, he was drafted top 10 in baseball coming out of high school. He's the winningest Texas high school quarterback ever, Heisman Trophy winner, first overall draft pick, rookie of the year. I get he probably thinks he's doing things his way and they're working. But to be successful at the next level in the NFL, you need to love the grind and love the practice. And he doesn't seem to want to do that. And so I think this is a bad move because coming down to those fourth quarter end of game drives or playoff games, is he going to be mentally ready for the defenses that are thrown at him? I'm not sure if you're not studying enough to be an NFL quarterback.
So if you're the owner of the Cardinals, you're not giving him the cash.
No, I would have let him play out this year. You can franchise tag him twice. So you would have had him locked up for at least 3 more years. And I would be fine with that. And then extending him after that, if he's proved himself. I don't care, pout, if you don't want to be on the franchise tag. That's your call, but that's what I would do. Just let him play it out.
Well, that's interesting that you would do that. I think I probably would do the deal. I mean, I know they had that weird clause in there, but he is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. They are Arizona, after all. They're not the Green Bay Packers.
True.
So they're not in the top 4. The top 4 favorites in all the divisions, those top 4 teams are clear favorites to win their divisions. They're not in that. Arizona always starts off great, but they do not finish the last 2 years in a row. So you're right. I agree with that. Arizona ranked 10th in the NFL at 250 passing yards per game. Is Kyler the 10th best quarterback? Maybe that's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about right.
So they got shellacked by the Rams in the playoffs. Kyler had one of his worst games ever. So he's only 24, though. He's 24 years old. This guy's he's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback yet. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I think I would have paid it, man. I think I would have paid it if it was me. But I understand your point. I like your point.
Yeah.
I wish I felt that way.
Do you think you had to put in a clause for Tom Brady to watch film? Do you think Joe Burrow's not in the film room all day, every day? And this guy's admitted, and much so, he literally has said it in interviews. He's not a big studier. He's said that. He loves
Yeah.
video games more than he loves watching film. He has said so much. And so that's what scares me is, look, this guy is immensely talented, but when we need him in our biggest spots, is he ready?
Yeah, I don't think they have a better choice, though. When you look around the league, they kind of were locked in with them.
Yeah.
Kingsbury and the general manager both got contracts this year. They went through 2027, so they're locked in. Kingsbury got that system that is suited for Murray. And so now they lock up the GM and the coach. Hey, they go get their quarterback.
Quick question. Do they both make it to the end of their contracts in the next 5 years?
Oh,
what about that?
Good question. Good question. It's highly, highly unlikely.
All right.
But
that's what I'm saying. You should
I don't
feel
see
confident.
Arizona. I mean, I'm saying unlikely that they should, but I don't know. I don't see Arizona slicing people and cutting people. They seem to be kind of laid back.
True.
So I don't know that they fire them.
I'm just thinking
they
like
might not be doing well.
If McVay and Stafford have both signed 4-year extensions or 5-year extensions, you'd be like, yeah, they're both finishing out, right? Of course they are. They're great quarterback head coaches. So just paying a lot of money for guys that are kind of wishy-washy. So I understand both sides of the coin though. But let's go to the Jags. Okay. Oh man, Jacksonville Jaguars, hot topic. I know, but let's talk about these guys now, because are they actually a little underrated now after everything they've done? What do you think, G-Man?
Absolutely not. I mean, you're probably talking about the buzz. Are they underrated in terms of the buzz? But in terms of Vegas, their win total right now in Vegas is 6.5. I just don't see them winning 7 games. That Vegas win total seems high to me. I think they might be overrated in Vegas. I definitely would bet the under. Go out and put your bets down, man, and look for the Big Bet Show coming out quick.
Oh,
the Big Bet Show is going to be out in 4 weeks, man. But I would bet on the under on the Jags not getting 7 wins. I think, look at their last couple of years. Let's see, they were 2-14. Let's hold on. They were 2-14. So this team has not won. If you look at the projections this year, if you look at this season upcoming, they'll be favorites in 2 games, underdogs in 14, and a push in 1. So if they follow that, they're 2-14-1 again. How does this team win 7 games? They're going to have to upset some really good teams.
Yeah. So I'm agreeing with you and disagreeing with you, because I do think that they are underrated, but I don't think they're going to win 7 games. I just think they actually made some good additions this year. They added the best guard on free agency and Brandon Sheriff. They added multiple weapons and Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, a new kicker, and the biggest thing is culture. They're getting obviously Urban Meyer out of there and Doug Peterson in, and
the number 1 overall, Trayvon Walker.
They have Trayvon Walker. They got ETN back from injury, and Trevor Lawrence now as an adult in the room. I think they're going to be a very, very well-coached team and much improved.
Oh, wait, pump the brakes on the Trevor Lawrence adult in the room. I mean, where are you getting that at? I mean, come on, man.
Well, I'm just saying now he has an adult in the room instead of Urban Meyer. Show it. Instead of Urban Meyer.
I thought you meant Trevor was the adult in the room.
No.
Oh, okay.
He's got a lot to prove.
Peterson.
I get that.
Yeah, Peterson.
Yeah, he's got a lot to prove. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, I can see it. The Texans aren't good. And I know the Colts are a little scary, but the Titans, I mean, Derrick Henry's the only scary thing there. Like, their defense is always bad. And now they lost AJ Brown. I'm just saying there's definitely a way they could surprise me. Like, they were so bad last year purely because of culture. Just imagine if they had a decent culture. Would that have gotten them 2 more wins? Maybe. And then that's a 4-win team coming back, much improved, added a lot of weapons. That could be a 7-win team, and that wouldn't surprise me. But I agree with you. I don't think they're getting 7 wins, but
no,
I think they are being underrated this year. I do like the direction they're headed now.
Hey, the first 3 games that they have are all on the road. I think they come out of those road games 0-3. That's at Washington, at the Chargers, at Philadelphia. I think they come out. They're 0-3 to start the season. Hey, let's go on to Jimmy G, one of our favorite topics. Jimmy G out there in San Francisco. What's happening, man? Is he going to get traded or what?
No, he's not going to get traded.
What?
He's getting cut. He's getting cut. All right.
He's getting cut.
He's getting cut because either the Niners can trade him or they can cut him. In both ways, they save $25 million in doing so. Right now, there is no trade market for him, especially coming off surgery. And every single team knows by week 1, he will not be on their roster because they can save that $25 million against their cap. So I'm sorry, Jimmy G, no one's trading for you. You're definitely going to be on a different team this year. Don't worry, but it's going to be, a little bit closer to the season. They're going to try to find a trade partner, but he's getting cut. And mainly, that's for them to be able to go sign guys like Deebo Samuel, Nick Bosa next year, have that cap space to re-sign Deebo Samuel's contract mainly, and then Nick Bosa next year. So he's getting cut. He's not getting traded, and no one wants him anyways. He's a bad quarterback.
Oh, I totally disagree with you on that. The guy's showing he can win, and you're always jabbing Jimmy G, man. Just because your girl like Jimmy G and thinks he's cute, you're always on Jimmy G. I think he's cute. I mean,
he's a
cute
beautiful
guy.
Man. He's a beautiful man.
But hey, a little bit different situation than Baker. None of Garoppolo's salary is guaranteed, where Baker had some of that guarantee. So that opens up, a little bit more for that team that goes to get him. That he's not guaranteed that money.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing. They have to make a decision by August 30, the 49ers. Are they going to keep him on their 53-man roster? That's what you're talking about. That August 30 is kind of the key date right there.
Yeah.
The 49ers want to get rid of him before that so they can get something for it. So they're going to be pushing to get this deal done before August 30. And Shanahan was on the news today saying this deal would have been done if he wouldn't have had surgery. And he made the decision, and we support him. We support him. We're behind him. But, man, if he wouldn't have got surgery, he'd be gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Kyle. You're my buddy, man.
Yeah. I mean, I just think, Jimmy G's won 4 playoff games. He's thrown a touchdown 1 time in those 4 wins combined. So how valuable was he to the Niners winning, or was he just dragged along by an amazing coaching team?
You look at his metrics, look at his advanced metrics. It shows that he wins. Look at his metrics. Not me, you're saying playoffs, but I'm saying overall, you look at this guy and his advanced metrics, he wins games.
No,
that's what you get when you get him.
His team wins games. But you know how I know that I'm right? No one's traded for him. Nobody wants him. All right. Hey, guys really want Marcus Mariota to be their starting quarterback, I guess. Mitchell Trubisky is going to be really exciting. Drew Lock up in Seattle. Super, super exciting stuff. $25 million for a what? You sound like he's a top 20 quarterback in the league. That's a bargain. So why is no one trading for him? Because he's not a good quarterback.
Not a lot of openings yet. Do you watch? I mean, it's August comes along. Anybody gets injured, they may gobble him up.
All right, we'll see. Well, let me ask you this. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. Can Daniel Jones finally have a big year with Brian Daboll?
Yes, he can. T-Money. We've talked about Brian Daboll before and what he brings to that team, that history with the Bills, and Josh Allen went from the 30th best offense in 2018 to the second best in 2020 and the third best in 2021. He brings that capability to Daniel Jones. So he's done it. Hey, you want to hire someone for a job, hire someone that's done it. Mm-hmm. Daboll comes in with that. He's done it. Could he do it again? Yes, he could do it again. I'm pretty encouraged there that this team with the weapons around him, Saquon, Galladay, Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney, all those weapons with Daboll, that offense could go.
Yeah. You know what? I actually agree with you here. Daniel Jones might be the best running quarterback outside of Lamar in the NFL. Like,
there were a couple games last year. He was running.
Very gifted runner. he's been in a dumpster fire of a situation with the Giants. I mean, Joe Judge, some of those guys, I think Ben McAdoo maybe is one of those old guys, like just horrible coaching, tons of coordinators, and had horrible offensive lines. I mean, he couldn't do anything. You can't do anything if you're a good quarterback and have a bad offensive line, let alone a young guy with horrible coaching. So I actually think Brian Dable can bring some stability. And I think Tyrod Taylor will be a great mentor to him too. So I like Daniel Jones and the Giants being a little of a sleeper because I think Brian Dable can bring some stability to him.
Oh, all right. I like a little sleeper. We got the Cowboys, Eagles kind of heavily favored at the top. Then we got the Redskins and the Giants.
Yeah.
Redskins, the football team, whatever they're called. What are they called now?
Commanders.
The Commanders
the
and the Giants. We got the Cowboys, Eagles, the Commanders, and the Giants were 4-13 last year. If they can pick that up a little bit. Jones is 12-25 as a starter, facing perhaps his final season with this club because they declined his 5th-year option of his rookie contract.
Yeah.
So they could turn to that NFL draft that we love talking about. If Jones does not come through this year, it's the Giants maybe going to the draft and pulling. Who knows, man? They might go for a Buckeye.
Yeah,
I hear there's
Stroud,
a really good Buckeye quarterback running around Columbus,
I know.
Ohio. Hey, let's go on to Travis Kelce, this man behind me right here. Hey, Travis Kelce, man, he's getting up there in HT money, getting up there. What do you think? Does he fall back a little bit this year? Does he hold? Where do you think he ends up this year?
Yeah. So, I think he's going to have a very, very good year statistically, right? I mean, he's put up over 1,000 yards in the past 6 seasons, over 860 yards in the last 8 seasons. The guy is just a machine, and his production did dip a little bit this year, but now Tyreek Hill's gone. It's going to go back up. He's going to be the main weapon on that team. But I do think, he's getting to be older. He's got a lot of miles on him. I do think he's going to start coming down the hill a little bit. Now, that means instead of having a 1,200-yard season, the guy's going to have, just 1,000 yards, which is still an elite tight end. So don't get me wrong here. But he's also not in the trenches a lot. He's not mainly a big blocker guy. He's more of a route runner. So he doesn't have as much wear and tear on his body. But I do think eventually this is going to start heading downhill, just not this year, because Tyreek Hill being gone is going to be drastically different.
Yeah. 20% target share ranks second best at the position in 2021. 20% target share, although he was 23% in 2019 and 2020. That's how many times he gets targeted. And without Tyreek there, I agree, he's going to get more targets. And this team is on a mission. Do you know how ticked off they are that they were not in that AFC Championship game? They are ticked, and Mahomes is going to lean on Kelce. Those guys are talking about it right now. And they're on a mission, man. They are not going to be stopped. Hey, here's their receivers, man. Here's their receivers. I'm looking at their depth chart. What do you think of this? Juju, McCole Hardman, MVS.
Don't forget about Sky Moore, their second-round draft pick.
Though.
Second-round draft pick, though. He's supposed to be an elite guy. I think Sky Moore is going to have more of a Tyreek Hill effect than anyone. Taking the top off. He's a really fast guy. I like Juju as a good receiver this year. I mean, look, it's not Tyreek Hill. That's fine, but I just think people get lost in Tyreek Hill being gone. It's like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, right? If Chris Godwin's gone, you still have Mike Evans. Like Travis Kelce almost led the league in reception yards last year. And people, so let's not act like this guy is just a tight end. He's a receiver. And so his weapons are going to be fine. Is Juju's your number 2? Look what Juju was doing as a number 2 when AB was with the Steelers. Juju was great. He had 1,000 yards. So I think they're going to be fine. Patrick Mahomes is too skilled to not be fine. So I'm not worried at all this year. But let's move to a different receiver. That Julio Jones, shocker, goes to the Bucs, signs with Brady down in Tampa Bay. I don't know who would have saw this coming, but
What?
I know you
Hey,
did,
excuse
G-Man.
me. Can we
G-Man.
roll back the tape? Hey, can we get the producer,
Yeah.
please pull up the tape from G-Man announcing that Julio was going to the Bucks. Can we pull that tape up, please?
G-Man, you did call it. I was shocked. Great call there. But the real question is this the final missing piece to get Brady over the hump in this team to win another Super Bowl?
It's a nice little piece. It's a nice little piece. This guy can come through. He's got touchdown potential. So yeah, I think this could be a piece that really helps him out. Right now, he's listed as second team. He's not even listed as the first team guy.
Yeah.
So, Antonio Brown kind of impact out of him. Does he contribute? Yes. He's 33 years old, 12th year in the league, and he missed last season. He missed the last 3 games in the playoffs. Sorry, I'm looking at Godwin. Godwin last year missed the last 3 games in the playoffs, still led the team with almost 100 receptions. So you got Godwin gobbling up 100 receptions. Now we're looking at Mike Evans, who led the team in touchdowns. So when they get to the end zone, it's Mike Evans. You got these 2 guys that are really heavily targeted by Brady. He loves those 2 guys. So Julio's going to define his little niche in there, kind of like Antonio Brown did. But I think he can be a contributor. I think he can help his team.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's going to help the team. I mean, look what Antonio Brown did to that team. They won a Super Bowl. There was just too many weapons on the field. So I think it's great for Tom Brady. It's great for the Bucks. Now, missing piece, I don't agree with. I mean, they had Russell Gage, too, that they just signed. They have weapons. That's not their problem. They just signed Kyle Rudolph and already have Cameron Brate. And Gronk's probably coming out of retirement in the middle of the season. They have a lot of options at pass catchers. They need defensive guys, right? The Rams stomped them because the defense couldn't stop them. Brady's offense is always going to be fine. They need defensive backs. And they need pass rushers, and they are losing those guys and had injuries last year. And that's where the missing pieces are. So I don't think this really moves the needle on them winning, being more likely to win a Super Bowl. I don't get that. This just smells to me of Julio Jones ring chasing, and that annoys me.
Absolutely. No, that doesn't annoy me at all.
Because you could have gone to the Packers. You could have gone to the Colts. You could have gone anywhere else, like a bunch of other places that maybe been the number 1 wide receiver. And you chose to be the wide receiver 3.5 at the Bucks. I don't like it. I don't like it. You could have been the guy that gets the Colts over the hill. Like, that would have been an awesome story going back to Matt Ryan. Like, come on, man. It just challenge yourself a little bit. A little disappointing to see him go be a third fiddle in the Bucks receiving core.
Is he the best wide receiver from Alabama? Would you agree with me on that?
Yes.
Is he the best? There is a chance for those Alabama wide receivers. They got this guy who's the godfather of Alabama wide receivers. Go get this man a ring. Tom Brady's the guy that can get it for him. Tom is recruiting. Tom's like, Julio, come on down here, man. I'm going to take you under my wing. I'm going to take you to your ring. You see how that rhyme, T-Money?
Good.
We're making a rhyme here, man. Hey, I got a final surprise question for you. Talking about these old guys coming back, Julio, could he be the comeback player of the year? Final question for you, man. Little surprise. Comeback player of the year. Okay. Who's it going to be? I'm going to give you some names here.
I already got it. I already know.
The Vegas odds. Okay. Well, who do you like? I'll tell you who the top 5 are.
Saquon Barkley.
Okay. Saquon Barkley is not even ranked in the top 10 now. You believe that?
Go ahead. Give me your list, though.
All right. You tell me which one kind of piques your attention.
Okay.
I'm going to read you the top 10 real quick, and then we're going to wrap up, everybody.
All right.
Here's our top 10. Comeback player of the year out of Vegas. Number 1, Derrick Henry. Number 2, Jameis Winston. Number 3, Christian McCaffrey. 4, we talked about him, Daniel Jones. 5's Baker Mayfield. Michael Thomas is 6. We talked about, we saw Michael just on the practice field today. Marcus Mariota, Chase Young, Mitchell Trubisky, and J.K. Dobbins. What do you think, man? Who pops out on that
I don't know how
list?
Daniel Jones can be a comeback player of the year when he started every game last year. Like, how are you? You're coming back from being bad? Is that what he's coming back from? I don't know.
I guess.
I think Christian McCaffrey is the one that piques my interest there. Derrick Henry, I get he's the easy bet, but he's going to get a lot of yards, but I think he's going to regress a little bit. I think he's coming back to the pack this year. I'm not as high on Derrick Henry, but Christian McCaffrey has way less carries, way more mileage on his body. And I think Baker Mayfield's a better option than Sam Darnold. And I think Christian McCaffrey is the focal point of that offense and could have a monster year. So I like Christian McCaffrey out of that list for sure. Watch out for Saquon Barkley as well, because I think Saquon could lead the league in rushing.
Woo! And catching. He can catch the ball too.
I know. I agree with you.
Word on the street down in Carolina, Baker was on the second team this week. Sam Darnold has taken first reps down there. Watch out, man. Hey, we hope you love the NFL Rundown. It's a special segment brought to you by the Father, Son, and Holy Sport Network. If you're interested in being a guest on the NFL Rundown, look us up, chase us down, reach out to us. We love you. If you love us, press that like and subscribe. This show is sponsored by Woundwise IQ. Woundwise IQ is a patented mobile analytics software app that automatically measures and analyzes chronic and surgical wounds. Just download the app from the App Store. You're ready to go. Learn more at woundwiseiq.com. Hey, look for all of our shows and segments where you play your podcasts. Look for our website, Father, Son, and Holy Sport.com. You can buy merchandise like T-Money and I are wearing all the time. Hey, we'll see you next week for the NFL Rundown.
All right. Peace. All right. We can move on now to the little chug and chant action.
Hey, I'm G-Man. I have T-Money here with me, bringing you sports energy with the July 27th edition of the Chug and Chant. It's a special segment of the Father, Son, and Holy Sport Network. Hey, do us a favor. Press that like and subscribe. We appreciate your support. It's time to go to Randy. I think he's somewhere in an office space. Randy's like renting out office space today. I don't even know what city he's in. Let's go to Randy right now for this week's Chug and Chant.
Oh, hey, didn't see there. Caught me in deep one of my favorite novels on Oprah's bestseller. But besides that, it's Cousin Randy with this week's Chug and Chant, baby. Coming to you. All right, I'm ready at any time. Let me get this chug in, and then it's chant time, baby. All right. Yes, it's for my Bengals, baby. Oh, my gosh, how I've missed you, fans. We got to get this owner out. Mike Brown's got to go. The guy's old. He's old school. And we got Joe Burrow's contract coming up. What are we going to do? We got to pay this man. And I'm scared he's going to let him walk like he did Carson Palmer. I'm scared he's not going to pay Jamar Chase and going to let him walk. All right, we got to get this guy out of there. They don't even have a practice facility. It's embarrassing. The only team in the North with no indoor practice facility. We got to get this guy out. We got to sell the team, get some new owners in there, new stadium, new indoor practice facilities, someone who can shell out some money. Look at the Rams, what they've done after they moved from St. Louis, built a new stadium, got a new owner. That's how it's done. Mike Brown's got to go. I know all you Cincy fans agree with me, but G-Man, T-Money, where do you stand on Cincinnati getting a new owner?
Hey, Randy, throwing it down on Cincinnati, man. Should they get rid of the owner? Wow, he's just going right for the top.
He did, didn't he?
T-Money.
He did. I mean, I get what he's saying. You know, if you're a Joe Burrow fan, you got to be nervous. I mean, this guy's known as one of the cheapest owners in sports, doesn't manage things well. Only the Bengals and the Cowboys don't have a general manager. And he does it because he's cheap. Jerry Jones does it because he wants to be the GM. So there's very different parts of this. And it's just, he's also is one of the poorest owners, not just cheapest, because his only way of making money is through the NFL. He doesn't have an outside business. He was handed this down from his dad, who was grandfathered into the NFL, basically. So his only source of income.
Paul Brown's son. Paul Brown, famous in Ohio.
Exactly. But he was handed this franchise. So his only way of making money is through this franchise. So we need a new, I agree with Randy. We need a new owner in there. I'm nervous he won't be able to keep Joe Burrow. And if that's the discussion, like, you don't get points for drafting Joe Burrow when he was the number one pick in the draft. Like, you don't get points for that. I don't give the owner points for having the number one pick in the draft. So, yeah, I'm nervous as a Bengals fan. And I agree with Randy. He's got to go.
And Randy brings up points. I don't know if I'm ready to fire the guy or get rid of him or whatever, but I see the point that if you look at Browns owner Jimmy Haslam, he had to put $170 million into escrow for Deshaun Watson. The guaranteed money has to be put into an escrow account, and that owner has to come up with that money because it has to be saved for the guaranteed contract.
Exactly.
So with these new big guaranteed contracts, I guess under the Cardinals contract, it wasn't quite as much money, and they somehow got around that issue. So maybe Mike Brown can get around that issue in Cincinnati and figure out a way that he doesn't have to put everything into escrow like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't have that kind of cash flow. Whereas Stan Kroenke, the Rams owner, does. He's a billionaire in his own right. So he can just throw that money down and not worry about it. And he can make all these awesome signings right now and just load this team up when it's ready. Mike Brown can't do that. And so the best thing for these guys is, Mike Brown gets a little old and is ready to move on and be a little comfier and sells this team, because we need a new owner in there that has enough cash flow and wants to make this a premier franchise. I think that's the biggest thing here is he's fine riding this coattail of a Super Bowl for the next 10 years. He doesn't care to invest. I mean, yeah, he spent money in free agency. That's fine. But you also have to spend a certain amount of money. You're required by the NFL to spend a certain amount of money of your salary cap. So I'm not sold on this guy and never have been.
I think, Randy's not really taking into account that he's not going to leave. Okay. Randy's just making a point that he's worried about it. But there's no way he's leaving. This contract has to be negotiated within the next year. So there's no way this Mike Brown is leaving or anything like that. I think he figures out a way. He keeps him there. The other guy you got to worry about is the Chargers. Justin Herbert comes up next year also, along with Burrow. So I don't know what they're
looking at selling the team.
In San Diego.
They're looking at selling the team as well.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but they're also in a new stadium, so they're out in LA. They'll be fine. I'm more worried about.
Well,
go ahead.
In 2005, Randy said Carson Palmer. My stats show me in 2005, Carson Palmer got the contract extension worth $119 million, which was huge money at that time. So the Bengals did in 2005 come up with a big contract for Carson Palmer.
Yeah, but they weren't guaranteed like they are now.
Not guaranteed, no.
Yeah.
You got to put that money away.
Yeah.
So, hey, Team Money, the Bengals are already getting creative. From what I hear, you probably know this. You're a Cincinnati guy. But I hear they're in preparing for all of this. They might sell the stadium naming rights.
Yeah.
I can see Cincinnati Team Money Stadium. Get a Team Money naming on that stadium.
Yeah. So, I mean, that sounds like a great idea. It's just, is $10 million a year going to move the needle for Mike Brown to be able to pay Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and all these guys? I mean, they're already struggling to pay their safety right now, who's an all-pro safety.
Overlooking the T Money's house on the south side of the river, the T Money Bungalow. We're going to call it the Bengals T Money Bungalow.
There we go.
T Money going to sell the naming rights. Oh, we could put Father, Son, and Holy Sport on that stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we need you fans out there to press and like and subscribe, man. We want to buy the stadium so we can save Joe Burrow.
Come on.
Hey, we hope you love the Chug and Chant from Randy. Special segment brought to you by the Father, Son, and Holy Sport Network. If you're interested in being a guest, man, guest Chug with us. Come on, let's go. All right. Hey, you can find our shows and segments where you find your podcast, where you play your podcast. Look for our website, FatherSonandHolySport.com. We'll see you next week for another Chug and Chant.
All right. Peace.